Hey you guys, it's Crystal from the Abundantly Blessed Homestead, where we use the wisdom of our ancestors to make amazing, nourishing, delicious meals for our family and grow some of our own food. Today I'm going to be doing an update video and a garden tour for you guys. I had somebody reach out, Kathy, reach out to me in an email and ask me how my garden's going and how's the greenhouse. So I figured I'd take you guys around. I also wanted to say, don't forget tonight is the live cooking class at 5:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to be making, I think it's beef enchilada casserole. Super good. And if you're new to this channel, we do live cooking classes every Tuesday night at 5:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. I also wanted to say that if you're having trouble jumping on the live, it's because I have to use a streaming platform to put my videos up on YouTube as far as the live goes, just until we meet 1,000 subscribers, which we're only 80 subscribers away from that goal, you guys. That's so exciting. But anyway, so in order to find the live, you're going to have to search Abundantly Blessed Homestead on YouTube, and then when it pulls up my videos, you'll see my live video there. It will not automatically appear in your feed until we get 1,000 subscribers. So all that being said, let's do a tour of our garden. Oh, and there's gonna be happy clucking noises from the chickens and some noises from the goats. We're a farm, so here we go. Okay, so this is my garden. I forget how large this is, 30 by 50, I think. I'm not quite sure. There's a lot of weeds, so no judgment. I'm showing you the garden because this is reality. Anyone who has any size of a garden realizes that there are weeds. It's part of having a garden. Part of my problem is that this area right in here that's weeds is not even planted yet. When we went on vacation, I only could get so much into the ground. We had a really late frost this year, and so things were kind of delayed. But anyway, I do have several rows, you can see them right here, of onions growing. And you can also see the black lines. That's all drip line that I installed by myself with the kids this year. So each row has its own drip line. I went ahead and moved a old water tank that we have here, and it's actually just all gravity fed, with the eventual goal of once the plastic gets on the greenhouse, we will have it this tank over here being filled with rainwater. I have a couple of herbs in these two planters, and then sweet peas along here, which I don't even know if those are even going to do well this year. We've had such wonky weather. We've had summer 90-degree tornadoes and then rainy, cold 70-degree days. I don't understand, but I don't even know if we even get anything out of these, and that's okay. We've got some rows of beans. They are being attacked by a bean beetle or bean bug. So I've been sprinkling some diatomaceous earth on that. That actually works really, really well. Some more onions here. And some cabbages. And then I've got lots of tomatoes this year. Every year I try to grow at least a year's supply of my tomato products. So I've got several rows of tomatoes here. I'm hoping the chickens stay out of my garden, that they keep coming in here. The garden fence just keeps letting them in somehow. I can't figure it out. So anyway, we have some more beans here. These are bush beans. I've got a mixture of both bush beans and pole beans this year. And I selected my varieties so that some of them are drought tolerant. I love the brand Provider beans. Those provide even in the worst conditions. Green beans for your family, absolutely amazing. And then this row is peppers on one side and Roma tomatoes on the other. And I'm just repurposing some sign holders that you see in people's front yard with campaign signs on them to go ahead and stake those two. I've got a couple of flats of vegetables that just aren't quite ready to go in the ground yet. So they're here. Maybe I'm not quite ready to plant them. I'm not really sure which. But in any event, they're sitting here waiting along with my garden plan. I plan everything out every year. And then back here are all of the rows of potatoes. I forget how many rows of potatoes I have. If I had to guess, probably 15. I'm not sure. But they each have their own drip line as well. And then at the end of the garden here, we've got viney stuff like melon and squash, that sort of thing. And of course, we've got goats. This goat right here is going to be having a baby, hopefully in July, a baby or 2 or 3. And so we're going to have some goat milk. So we're pretty excited about that. And then once again on this side are all tomatoes, or sorry, potatoes, all potatoes, not tomatoes, potatoes. And then we have some rows that need to be weeded of peppers, lots of peppers this year, and more tomatoes. And then this needs to be weeded, and this will be more beans, bush beans, and that sort of thing. Another herb that just grows wild here is motherswort. And this is really, really good if you can make it into a tincture for like afterbirth pains when you have a baby. That's really good stuff. But it grows wild here along with wormwood. It also grows wild here. We have a little bit of rhubarb, and then I'm going to take you guys over to the greenhouse. Okay, here we are out at the greenhouse. Not a lot has changed. Well, I guess that's a lie. A lot has changed. We do not have the plastic on yet because we had that 110 mile per hour wind storm, and before that we had 60 to 75 mile per hour winds every weekend, and you can't pull a huge 60-foot long piece of plastic over a ribbed building like this with that kind of wind. So the weather seems to have finally started to normalize. There are less trails in the sky. That's all I'm going to say about that. And so maybe we can get the plastic over. We'll just have to see. So my husband has started framing in the ends. This will have a double door on this side. And then it'll actually have another door on the other end, because we're going to use part of this greenhouse as a milking parlor area to milk our goats. We own heavy milking breed type goats, and they only come into heat in the fall. And when they come into heat, then of course they have their babies in the middle of winter or very, very early spring. And so, depending on when they get bred, obviously. And so we really needed a nice covered place to milk, and so we're actually going to use part of the greenhouse for that, and just in the back area. So there'll actually be a second door on the rear as well. And then we've also installed a board right along here. This is for our roll-up sides. There'll be a roll that can roll up to that height right there and allow the breeze to come through and cool the greenhouse during the hottest days of the summer, so that we can use this greenhouse all the way through the summer and not have to stop using it when it gets into the 90s and 100 degrees. Also, my husband has taken some 2x4s and did some extra bracing. After all those windstorms, we just can't afford to put so much money and time into a building and have it be destroyed by wind. So he's been doing extra bracing. And then the other thing that's been accomplished as well is we put up some of this netting. And this is to keep the chickens and the cats and the geese and deer and wildlife out of the greenhouse when we have the sides rolled up. This was one of the things that was actually damaged in that storm. So we had to come back and we strengthened the netting with some duct tape and then used a zip tie over top of the duct tape because, as you can see, the wind the 110 mile per hour wind just tore it right off of the zip ties. And then you can see in there I'm growing lots of beneficial weeds. All of this sprung up while we were gone on vacation, so we've got quite some work to do in here. But I'm sure that we could eat them or use them for something. If anything, just feed them to the goats. And then I did install all these raised beds myself. This first bed is walking onions, which we just cut off. And I chopped them and put them on a dehydrator and then puree them once they're dehydrated into a powder and use it the same as onion powder. It's just green. I have a couple horseradish plants in this one. And then all the way down, that was my old hoop house that I was using for my seedlings. I built these raised beds so that you could attach PVC hoops to it and then use it with plastic. So there's basically nothing really planted in here other than onions, the walking onions, and then the horseradish. Oh wait, right here, I have all this. What do you mean nothing? Ha ha ha. Okay, so right here is a double row of indeterminate tomatoes. A lot of them are paste tomatoes. I love growing San Marzano tomatoes. They're basically the original Roma tomato. And my plan is to grow these all the way to the ceiling using my technique I've used every year to stabilize the tomato plant and allow it to grow up a string. And this year I actually have a top of a greenhouse to tie it to, so that will be great. But that has been my plan. It's worked out wonderfully with the indeterminate tomatoes. So I don't remember how many are in this row. Probably, it's a double row, so probably 30 are in here, maybe less, maybe 25. So that is a tour of the greenhouse. All right, you guys, there is your update. We hope to get the plastic on the greenhouse by the fall so I can utilize growing in that for part of the winter. That would be nice. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. I would love to know if you guys are watching this and enjoy more gardening videos, because I sure could take you guys along through multiple steps. I know there's a lot of you guys that are trying to grow your own food this year just because of the food crisis and food inflation and all that junk. If you guys are interested, please let me know. At least put a comment down below. And if you don't want to comment, give it a thumbs up, please, and just let me know this is the type of content I should be making. I love cooking with you guys, and I will continue spreading the word of nourishing meals. But if you guys would like some gardening tips or how I've learned to do it, I've been gardening for about 10 years. I do not know everything. If you have tips for me, put them in the comments. But if you'd like to see more of these type of videos, please let me know somehow, okay? You guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys tonight at the cooking class at 5:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. Take care.